Welcome back. The entry post-secondary school has faced challenges with a deteriorating facility, including structural weaknesses and outdated amenities. Responding to the needs of the school's management, Prime Minister and MP for Castries East, Philip J. Pierre, with support from Education Minister Sean Edward, has taken decisive action to prioritize the school's rehabilitation. This project is a significant step in fulfilling the government's commitment to enhancing educational facilities across the nation and marks a turning point for the school's future.
We are at the initial stages of construction of the new block of the entry post-secondary school.
For years, the entry post-secondary school struggled with a deteriorating facility marked by structural weaknesses and outdated amenities. Heeding the cries of the school's management and recognizing the urgency, Prime Minister and MP for Castries East, Honorable Philip G. Pierre, with support from the Education Minister, Honorable Sean Edward, took decisive action to prioritize the school's rehabilitation, fulfilling the government's commitment to improving education facilities nationwide. This project marks a turning point for the school.
The entry post-secondary school was founded on the 10th of January 1972, and at the time it was a junior secondary school. At present, we are now a full-fledged secondary school, and we still have what we call the remnants of the old school. The old school was actually designed to last 15 to 25 years. We are now at 53 years, so you could well imagine that we have doubled the time span for our school building plus 2 years. So in our 53rd year, we have been granted a gift, and that gift is the renovation or the implementation of a new wing to our school, which the administration of the entry post-secondary school, we eagerly await.
According to the school's principal, the rehabilitation works will transform the school into a modern, student-friendly environment. The new facilities will address the challenges of overcrowding, outdated resources, and limited classroom space.
School, under this new project, provision is being made for children with disabilities, even to the extent that because we have a number of floors that will be accessed, we have catered for the children with disabilities that they could be lifted to the various floors for access to the classes. Also, we are looking at catering to our parents. We have parents, who may be wheelchair bound. And so the design of the building has catered for that. Even the office of the principal in welcoming parents and guests will be situated on the ground floor to accommodate those who need to access the principal or service, get services rendered.
Designed with the future in mind, the project will be a climate resilience facility that will provide students with a learning environment that is both modern and conducive to academic success.
We are doing an extension to the entry post school. What is happening here is a 3-story building. Each floor is 5,600 square feet. In this block, there will be a principal's office, there will be classrooms, and there will be cafeteria, as well as toilets and other facilities for the teachers. It is a climate resistant facility. It can be also used as a hurricane shelter also in case of any weather emergencies, and so it will have a concrete roof. So this is a futuristic building that can also incorporate any future climate resilient features like solar water heating or solar power, etc. The provisions are made in these buildings to accommodate that as well.
With construction progressing well, this initiative signifies a new era for entry post-secondary school, one in which students and teachers can concentrate on education without the constraints of an outdated building. This project is part of a broader vision for Castries East, where Prime Minister and MP for Castries East, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, is investing in infrastructure, social programs, and economic opportunities to uplift the community. At the national level, the government of Saint Lucia is committed to ensuring every child has access to a modern learning environment. As Nobel laureate Sir Arthur Lewis said, the cure for poverty is not money, but knowledge.
Your government is working for you.
Key stakeholders in special education within Saint Lucia and the sub-region are putting the issues of special needs children on the front burner with the recent hosting of a regional conference on inclusive education. The three-day forum was held at the Bay Gardens Beach Resort. We get the details in this report.
The much important topic of inclusion of special needs children within the mainstream education system of Saint Lucia and other islands of the sub-region continues to receive much attention in an attempt to remove any barriers that remain in making this a reality. The sub-regional conference held to the theme Building Research and Professional Networks to Support Inclusive Education for Students with Disabilities in the Eastern Caribbean was executed in collaboration with faculty from Canadian universities and funded by the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council, the SSHRC of Canada. Chief Education Officer Beverly Diodoni says smoothing out the issues of inclusive education requires not just dialogue on the topic, but a change in the mindset of the country with regards to differently abled people on a whole.
When we speak of inclusive education, we are really looking at our students who are differently abled, who learn differently, taking these students and really bringing them into our mainstream classrooms. These classrooms where we think our boys and girls are normal students and they learn in the normal way. So we want to take our students who learn differently and bring them into those classrooms where they interact and learn, of course, catering to their needs with our students whom we say are normal students.
Professor at the Wilfrid Laurier University, Dr. Steve Sider, says the conference will help determine the gaps that exist in the islands of the sub-region and devise strategies to eliminate them for the smooth transition of an education system that includes all children.
The biggest barrier is one that most people don't talk about, and that is about attitudes, our beliefs, our perspectives, the stigma that sometimes we associate with disability. So we can give, let's say, hypothetically, we had tens of millions of dollars that we could put into the education system, hundreds of millions. We could give every school fancy computers, give every school lots of extra teachers. But if we don't change people's attitudes, all that will be a waste.
Education Minister Honorable Sean Edward says the conference is in keeping with government's agenda for differently abled people on the island, including those within the education system. The minister says this has translated into several policies by government which will allow for better inclusion of differently abled people within education, the job market, and indeed normal day activities on the island. Case in point, the minister says, is the creation of a specific government department for people with disabilities.
I think this speaks to a certain degree of sensitivity on the part of the government. And in education, we understand that there can be a role for every citizen, irrespective of your station in life. And it's up to us as government, as agencies of government, to program in ways that can cause people to reach their full potential and to make meaningful contributions to society and to the advancement of our country. And the students in our school system who have special needs, they will not be left behind. We will work with them, we will put the resources forward, we will ensure that we get the requisite equipment and devices to give them the best possible opportunity to maximize their potential, thereby making a contribution to the advancement of Saint Lucia.
The Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training is currently in the throes of putting a comprehensive special needs education policy document with support from the Caribbean Development Bank. Once the full participation of all relevant stakeholders has been administered, the document will then be taken to Cabinet for approval. From the Communications Unit of the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training, I am Chris Satney reporting.
In an address on Wednesday to Caribbean leaders meeting in Barbados, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres announced a potential plan to support an effective force in Haiti as armed gangs continue to terrorize the population. Mr. Guterres called for unity to achieve progress as Caribbean countries experience uncertainty fueled by geopolitical tensions, along with the socio-economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, soaring debt and interest rates, and a surge in the cost of living.
Leaders gathered at the 48th Conference for CARICOM are seeking unity, insisting there is trouble in paradise. Our DeAndre Hamilton reports on how the United Nations is paying attention to the problems and looking for possible solutions.
There is trouble in paradise, and it has not escaped the attention of the United Nations, as Antonio Guterres, UN Secretary General, on Friday commended host Prime Minister for her unerring words as he acknowledged what is an unequivocal truth for the Caribbean region.
The exquisite beauty of the Caribbean is famed the world over, but there is trouble in paradise. Wave after wave of crisis is pounding your people and your islands with no time to catch your breath before the next disaster strikes.
Barbados hosted the 48th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, and Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, set an unapologetic tone for the session.
This meeting, my friends, cannot be business as usual. The Secretary General has already heard me on the fact that the only way we will make it through these difficult times is if we are prepared to be more unified and bolder than ever.
Guterres sided with the plight echoing from the CARICOM pulpit, listing 3 areas of priority.
Unity on the climate crisis. You face a deplorable injustice. A crisis you have done next to nothing to create is wrecking economies, ruining lives, and threatening your very existence.
Haiti and its years of gang-fueled chaos absorbed the lion's share of the SecGen's attention.
Where gangs are inflicting intolerable suffering on a desperate and frightened people. CARICOM and the Eminent Persons Group have provided invaluable support.
His final words, a united Caribbean is an unstoppable force. DeAndre Hamilton reporting.
Stay with us. The weather report is up next.